Well, good morning, Zen. You gonna say hi to everybody? You ready to go for your morning walk? You wanna go for your morning walk? Okay, let me get my shoes on. Good, should take you for a walk. Goodness, you just woke up. And I said good morning to everybody. Welcome back to the forest. You're ready to take Zen for his morning stroll out here. Sun's just now getting over the mountain. And it's gonna be a beautiful day. Light clouds. Let's go. Let's go up the hill, buddy. We usually just walk up the road a little bit and walk back around, so let him do his business. Woke up this morning to the smell of nature. You might ask what that is. We call them back in Arkansas polecats. Woo, something out here is stinking strong. Stinking strong. Woke up in the middle of the night and I get this big whiff and I'm going like, man, there's a skunk somewhere by. So we're gonna walk up the hill, walk around and get back to the bus and walk around and do a little investigation to make sure that Walden didn't get sprayed with the cologne of Pepe Le Pew. We'll get some views of this morning. We went up a little further from the trailhead and walking around, and nice views this morning. Still, like I said, hazy, but not too bad. Down there is the road between those two trees, is what goes down the mountain. Down here below is where the fire burn was that we commented on the last video on our hike. That's a pretty area through here. Much different from the Quartzsite area, that is for sure. And further up there, there is a Ranger fire station lookout. I think it's right up in this area here. Let me zoom in a bit. Right over there. On top of that mountain. I think that's called Spencer Mountain. We're not going to go to that area. I looked online and it's 8.5 miles more of this dirt road. 30 minutes on 8 miles to get there. So we're going to bypass because it's a little rugged in the bus. But if you want to see that area, go to Adventure Man and see Brian. He was just out here on his last video and he went to that watchtower. It's kind of cool. This is the area where they were cutting the other day with the saws. No camping. You can see there used to be an old road went up there and they blocked it off. We're making it back to our camp. There's our bus hidden away. It blends in really good with the forest. Not so much in the desert. Forest, yes. Seemed like the Pepe Le Pew smell has kind of gotten weaker, so we're still going to investigate. Maybe it's moved off for a while. What do you see? See the biker? Yeah, we got a group of bikers going up the hill on the dirt road. But we're back here checking out the smell of the skunk. It seemed like it's fading away. Also, the wind has changed a little bit. It's blowing that way. This morning it was kind of blowing this way. So I did some investigating. I don't think the skunk sprayed the bus anywhere. That's what I was afraid of. But that reminds me of back when I was in high school. I ran over a skunk in my car. Oh man, that smell was in there for months. Could not get it out. Even worse when you had to have the windows up and, in the schoolyard. And then when it got wet, it was terrible. That smell stayed there forever, it seemed like. But hopefully this was just out in the forest somewhere doing its business. But what do you think, buddy? What are we going to do today? I'm going to go around here and show you some of my body work I've been doing as soon as I get through getting licked. As soon as I get to pepper some some lemon. I'll go back and show you my body work. I've been doing some tinkering on the bus, trying to fix that little ding in the back. Got it pretty well straightened out. What do you think? We're getting there. Not quite done yet. But what I'm going to do is, of course, straighten it back out. I've got to push this part back underneath because the other side, the bumper wraps underneath, and this is actually right here. The edge of this is actually under the metal back here. So what I did was I got under the bus with a 20-ton bottle jack and a 2x4. Put it against the frame, and I worked it out slowly, just enough to get it pretty well straightened here. And I'm hoping that when I push this back in, it's going to kind of push this out just about that much, about a 1/4 inch. That's my plan. We'll see what happens. But I'm in no hurry. As soon as I find a good chunk of concrete or a big tree or something, then I'll fix that, put it back together. But I went ahead and cleaned it up, sanded it, painted it a little bit, and the dust will cover the new paint in no time. It's got one little ding, not bad. But I have to go underneath, take the brace off, so I'll have less resistance to push it back. But these things are expensive. I looked online, $1,500 for a bumper. Whew, a used one I can get for about $5. But goodness gracious. Of course, they charge a lot of money because bumpers are usually what gets beat up first. It makes more sense, I guess. But we're getting it. And as soon as I get a flat spot like a concrete or a pavement, I'll be able to take that cover piece and wail on it with a hammer and flatten her out. Yeah, but don't mind the other dents. This was already here when I got the bus. Those up there were already here when I got the bus. And of course, you know, the buses always get the back ends beat up. This one up here, oh yeah, I did that one. Caught the edge of a building. On those tail swings, remember that? When I first got it, I didn't realize the tail swing and caught the edge of it. Other than that, it's still pretty good shape. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It's going to be fine. Going to be just fine for what it is. I'm kind of like taking it to the body shop, and the guy says, you know, can you straighten this bumper out? He said, well, do you want the $2,000 brand new look, or do you want the $50 close enough look? I'm getting the $50 close enough look. But I got a thing about the golf balls. Remember the other day I talked about the golf balls down here? Well, that drainage ditch is right ahead of me. And I looked the other day when I was taking Zen for a walk on the other side of the road, and there were probably about 20 golf balls over there in that ravine. So I'm thinking like either A, somebody was throwing them through that drainage ditch, or somebody was chipping them off of here and up in there. But it makes more sense to go through the pipe because they're all in the same area at the other end of the pipe. So they're gonna have to stay there because it's about a 50-foot drop. And I have to rappel down and rappel back out. So we maybe have to leave those, unless I want to crawl through that hole. Nope. Maybe in my younger days I might, but not now. But yeah, you can go all the way through. I don't see any golf balls in there, but doesn't mean there aren't some in there. But at the other end of that pipe is where all the golf balls are at. So I think somebody was chunking them through the golf balls, through the pipe. Where's Zen? There he is. He's there, he's laying in the shade. He's liking this cool weather and the shade. Think about all this noise this morning, buddy. Huh? Sunrise in the forest with chainsaws in the background. We love the smell of napalm in the morning. Right there behind my camp. Smell of exhaust fumes and gasoline. Sound of progress.
Lightning strikes as I lay waiting for the touch.
Zen's on high alert with all these chainsaws cutting everywhere. Aren't you? You on high alert this morning? Yep. They're parked right over there. But it's interesting to watch these guys work. I've been watching one of these guys, and he was right over here and just going at it like crazy. The trees were just falling everywhere. And the reason why they do that, I asked and checked, is they'd clear the underbrush for several reasons. One, it helped create less of a chance of a wildfire. They call it the ladder effect, where the smaller brush will catch on fire and then get into the taller trees. Then once it gets up in the canopy, a wildfire will spread a whole lot faster. A lot of times the wildfires are just like a ground fire. They're right on the ground level. So by keeping the underbrush cut back, it creates a less chance of that fire getting up into the taller trees. It also clears out the underbrush, clears out the unwatered trees, the brush. It makes it easier accessible to get in and out. It creates more open for the sunlight to shine, so get more nutrients and etc. So it's actually for forest, proper forest management. So that's what they're out here for. It's kind of interesting to watch. I want to get my little chainsaw out and go help them. But they're doing a really good job. It's interesting to watch them. They can bend excuse me, they can bend down and they just get that saw and go, and they just cut a whole bunch of stuff at once. But it's relevant, not of it real big, some of it's really small, but yeah, and it also increases property value. And like I said, gives you a better look, more accessible, increases property value, less chance of wildfires, and just proper forest management. Right? And give something for Zen to bark at. He's keeping an eye on them. I had my game camera set up here last night, my trail cam, and guess what? I caught a bobcat walking right through here. But I went in to check the camera and I accidentally cleared the file, so I lost everything. So anyway, we're going to set it up again for tonight and see if I can catch that bobcat. It's really cool to see it just walk right in front, just walk right down there and walk right down out. Hey, with all the sawing going on, got my little saw all excited about becoming a big saw. But yeah, we can go cut up some wood. And remember this, National Forest, once the wood is down on the ground, it's firewood. You can burn it. Now we can go cut it up. So, hey, thanks for watching. See you guys up on the next one. We're going to cut some wood.